Alright, so let's take a look at multiplying matrices. Okay, so here I want to multiply matrix A and matrix B. Okay, so let's see what we've got here. So let's just go ahead and write down the matrices. I've got 1, -1, 2, -1 times matrix B, 2, -1, -1, 8. Alright, so whenever you're multiplying matrices, what you want to do is you want to write down the dimension of each matrix. Okay, so I have a 2 by 2 times a 2 by 2. Alright, now the dimensions, this first number, that tells you the number of rows. We have 1, 2 rows. And this second number tells you the number of columns. We have 1, 2 columns. And for instance, this matrix C here would be 1, 2, 3 would be a 3 by, and then 1, 2 columns. So we have 3 rows by 2 columns. Okay. All right. So in order to multiply matrices, once you write the dimensions down, the two inside numbers, they have to be the same. If they're not the same, then you can't multiply the matrices. And then the two outside numbers, that's the dimensions. Well, that's the dimensions of your product matrix. So our answer is going to be a 2 by 2. Okay, so that's the dimension of our product matrix, a 2 by 2. Now, so since this is a 2 by 2, we are going to have an entry here, an entry here, an entry here, and an entry here. So we have to find each one of these. This entry here is the first row, first column. This entry here is the first row, second column. This one is the second row, first column, and this one is the second row, second column. Okay. All right. So let me erase this to give us a little more room. Okay. So let's start out by finding the entry for the first row, first column. Okay. And what we do, we call that with a lowercase. We can call it a lowercase a. You can put a lowercase b or whatever. It doesn't really matter. But we're going to put subscript 1, 1. That means first row, first column. Okay. And we do exactly what it says. We multiply the first row times the first column and add up the results. So what we have is we have 1 times 2, see, first row times first column. So we have 1 times 2 plus, and then -1 times -1. -1 times -1. And so that's going to give us, that's 2 plus 1 would be 3. So this entry here would be 3. Okay. See if I can erase these lines. Alright. Now we need this entry. So I'm going to multiply. This is in the first row, second column. So I need the first row, second column entry. Okay, see, this entry here is in the first row, and the second column. So I'm going to multiply the first row, this row here, times the second column. So I've got first row times second column. So this is going to give me 1 times negative 1. So 1 times negative 1 plus negative 1 times 8. Negative 1 times 8. And so this will be negative 1, and this is negative 8. So negative 1 plus negative 8 is negative 9. So this right here is negative 9. Alright, so now we need this entry. This entry is in the second row and the first column. So that's exactly what we need. We need second row, first column. We need that entry. Let me erase this 2 by 2 here. So we need the entry in the second row, first column. So I'm going to multiply the second row times the first column. So that's going to be 2 times 2 plus negative 1 times negative 1. So that's going to be 4 plus 1, which is 5. This is a negative 1. I accidentally erased that negative sign. And then we have this entry, the second row, second column. So I will multiply the second row times the second column. So I need second row, second column. Alright, so I have 2 times negative 1 plus negative 1 times 8. Okay. And that's going to be negative 2 plus negative 8, which is negative 10. And this is our answer. Alright, so I have a couple of more examples to work in this video. I'm going to go through them a little bit quicker. It's the same process. It's just that I'm going to multiply the 2 by 2 matrices times the 3 by 2 so you can see that. It's the same process, but I'm going to move through them a little bit quicker. So let's look at example 2. So I have A times C. Alright, so that's going to be 1, negative 1, 2, negative 1 times 6, negative 1, 2, 4, negative 3, and 5. Alright, so let's write the dimensions down. This one is a 2 by 2. This one is a 3 by 2. So you can see here that the inside numbers are not the same. So that means that we can't multiply these. So this answer here, this is not possible. Okay. Alright. Alright, so how about this one? Matrix C times matrix A. Well, let's see what we have here. We've got 6, negative 1, 2, 4, negative 3, 5. And then matrix A is 1, negative 1, 2, negative 1. Okay. Alright, so write the dimensions down. This is a 3 by 2. This one is a 2 2 by 2. Okay, and you can see that the two inside numbers, they're the same, so that means we can multiply them. And then the dimensions of my product matrix, or the dimensions of my answer, is going to be a 3 by 2. So this one, my answer, is going to be a 3 by 2. So our entries is going to be 3 rows and 2 columns. Alright, so let's erase this. Okay, so we need first row, first column. Okay, so first row, first column, I'm multiplying the first row times the first column. So that's going to be 6 times 1 plus negative 1 times 2. 6 times 1 plus negative 1 times 2, and that's going to give me 4. Alright, and then I need first row, second column. So I need first row, let me rewrite that. So I need first row, second column. Alright, so let's go ahead and erase these lines here. So I have first row times second column. So 6 times negative 1 plus negative 1 times negative 1. And that's negative 6 plus 1, which would be negative 5. Alright, now I need second row, first column. So I'm going to multiply the second row times the first column. Alright, second row, first column. So 2 times 1 plus 4 times 2. So that's 2 plus 8 is 10. Now I need second row, second column. So I multiply the second row times the second column. So let's see, we've got A, 2, 2. So 2 times negative 1 plus 4 times negative 1. And that's negative 2 plus negative 4 is negative 6. Alright. And then I have third row, first column. See, this entry's in the third row and first column. So I have third row times first column. So that's A, 3, 1. See, third row, first column. So I have negative 3 times 1 plus 5 times 2. And that's negative 3 plus 10, which would be 7. Alright, and then I need third row, second column. So I multiply the third row times the second column. So that's going to be negative 3 times negative 1 plus 5 times negative 1. And that's going to be 3 plus negative 5, which would give me, how about instead of positive 2, it would be negative 2. And so my answer here would be negative 2. And there's my answer. Alright, so I hope this video's helped. If you like my videos, you can check the other ones out and you can subscribe. Alright, thanks.